Ooh. What up, what up, what up? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, hey, hey. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Get up. Y'all feeling funky this morning? What's happening?
Let us know. Let us know.
What up? What up? Say what? Say what? Gotta move your body. Shake it up. Shake it up. Hey, hey, hey.
Grab a seat. Come on
First
in.
Sky Omaha Radio, baby. Feel like I'm extra loud. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Let us know how's our levels out there. How we sounding? How's
the levels? How's the levels?
Turn my headphones up.
I let that funk play out. What's going on? First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners. What's going on this Friday, January 27th, 2023? How y'all feeling this morning?
Man.
Let's see, we got some up and earlys with us. Wanda Lewis giving us a good morning from Facebook. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Share the show. Pops says, good Friday morning, First Sky fam over there on YouTube. Appreciate you, Pops. Good morning to you. Leia Keiser says, Friday. That's her favorite day.
Yeah.
What's going on? Good morning to you as well. Rick Fulton, new name over here on Facebook. Okay. Good morning. What's going on? He says, where's Wayne and TM? Yeah, they'll be on. They'll be on very shortly. We're going to get into the show and they'll come on through.
Came in ready.
Yeah, man. Maybe this might be a brand new listener. Are you a brand new listener? Thanks for joining us if you are.
Or maybe a ghost listener.
Could be. Pop says all is well. I think the levels are nice. I think they're okay. I still feel like I'm kind of loud. Let me turn my headphones down a little bit, maybe. Keith Zykel in the house. Good morning.
Hey.
Appreciate you coming on through. Josh Tate says, hey, happy Friday. That's what's up, man. We're going to definitely have an extensive haps a little later on in the show as well. Got some good stuff happening. Rick Fulton says, what is Senator Wayne going to do with his $40 million? I don't think Senator Wayne has $40 million, but we'll talk to him about it when he comes on.
I don't think anybody has anything.
Yeah, nobody has anything yet. Carolyn Jack gives us a good morning with some sunshine. We're going to need it because it's supposed to drop a little later on today. I hate to cuss. I hate to cuss at the beginning of the show, but there is going to be some snow tonight.
I heard it raining on your parade, but snow, it's a different story.
Yeah, dude. At least it's not going to be till later on the night, so I'm happy about that.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's Friday though. Like, we'll get into the haps, but I don't know. We might have something for you to watch and staying home. Yeah.
Mama God gives us a good morning, First Sky fam. Good morning to you. Amy Huffler says, hey fam, good morning to you as well. Got some YouTubers over here. I love it.
Man, they carrying the energy from last season.
That's right. That's what it is. So share the show if you're on YouTube or if you're on Facebook. Do us a favor, share the show. Definitely want to get as many people in the room as we can. Have some conversation. More voices, the better the conversation. So I really appreciate everybody that's jumped in. New listeners, last listeners, as Buddy likes to say. Ghost listeners, as we like to call people out. Love that. And of course, you, the chat chimers, who we call the co-hosts, who help come in and provide a lot of context, a lot of good intelligent comments and things like that. Really appreciate that. Good questions. and all the things, supplement what we're doing here in a big way. So appreciate that very much. Ariel's 402 is in the house. What's going on, brother? He says 173 subscribers, one new since Wednesday, race to 200. That's right.
Hey.
Race to 200. I don't know what we're going to do when we hit 200, but we're going to do something. We're going to do something. Appreciate that very much.
Figure it out.
Michelle Moreno says, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Thank you very much. Happy Friday to you. Rick Fulton said, Wanda suggested I tune in. Right on, Wanda. She told a friend.
Okay. That's what we tell them to do.
Tell a friend. Tell a friend. Man. Chrissy Norris says, good morning. Good morning to you as well. And Arrows 402 reminds you, please hit the like button if you're over there on YouTube as well. So appreciate everybody coming in on this Friday, January 27th, 2023. Shout out to the radio crew as well, 630 crew. How you guys doing? I hope the mix was good for you this morning. Thanks for tuning in on the radio channel. All you got to do is hit the listen button when you go to firstskyOmaha.com. Hit the listen button, and it's a 24/7 radio channel, digital channel over there with a celebration of Black music. So definitely check it out.
Man. I'll be honest. Sometimes I forget we're broadcasting to the radio. Like, like we be playing videos on here and stuff. Like, I forgot about y'all. I'm sorry.
You got to do. That's why I be doing so much explaining sometimes. The digital channel is picking up for sure too. So that's kind of the future of radio, man. The digital channel. I have a Alexa on the TV, so I just, hey Alexa, play First Sky Omaha Radio. You are now getting down with First Sky Omaha Radio. So that's what's up. Rick Fulton says, ask Senator Wayne when I can testify on LB 1024. When Brother Wayne comes on, you can ask him yourself. That's the beauty of us being in the chat. So, if this is your first time on the show, kick back. We'll let you know how it's going. We got a little news to talk about, a few things to get into, and then we'll have some special guests on. We'll be here for the next 2 hours. So, if you want to hang on, and if you miss any parts of the show, you can always go back to Facebook and YouTube and watch it in its entirety. Check it out. Buddy says, it makes me nervous when Buddy talks about the last time listeners. I don't want that. I don't want to be that.
No, I'm not. I'm not wishing that on nobody. But hey, I do acknowledge that we're not everyone's cup of tea. We came into this thing trying to be kind of for the like-minded. I'll say that, for the like-minded, for those who get it. So if you come on and you don't quite get what's going on here, and you puts a little bad taste in your mouth, I'm sorry, but thanks for trying this out. That's all I'm saying. Please come back. Please come back. Please. So welcome, Brother Rick. If this is your first time, thank you for coming.
Wanda Lewis says she shared the live. Appreciate that very much.
Okay.
That's what we do here. It's a conversation that we're trying to have. We're trying to read, get into the news that's relevant to our neighborhoods. Have a discussion with it with all of you in the chat. Really appreciate everybody that's in the chat. We have one of the best chats ever. As far as I'm concerned, go to channel 7, look at their chat. Go to WOWT, look at their chat. We have respectful, intelligent folks that they come into the chat here and have some conversation. So welcome everybody, first timers in here, and we also have what we call ghost listeners.
Yeah, man.
People that don't chime into the chat, they kick back and listen. And every once in a while, when the spirit takes them over, they'll jump on and they can't help themselves and jump in and say something. So that's what's up. Yeah. That's what's going on. Appreciate you. Ariel's 402, First Sky Omaha in the morning, the brand. I hear you.
Hey, it's a movement. It's a movement. So we appreciate everybody, and it really is a movement, man. We have kickbacks and things like that. Really look at everybody as a fam, especially the chat chimers. We definitely appreciate y'all, but we appreciate everybody, and that's why we do this, and we make sure to always open up by asking, how you doing. So let us know how you doing in the chat. Of course, we'll try to work in some haps a little later on. I'm not quite sure,
we
but
definitely have to do that. There's definite haps this weekend that we got to get into.
So let us know what's going on in your world. As always, drop that into the chat if you have some things happening, or have some suggestions for the people out there. That's what the chat is for. So let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. But before we get into the show and the heavy stuff, because it is an interesting day, Paul, how you doing, man? What's going on in your world?
Hanging in there, man. Definitely doing a lot of work. It's grind season right now for me, so just head down grinding, trying to make it happen.
Facts.
Push the changes on First Sky Omaha. Work the room at the theater. As a matter of fact, we have an open house at the theater tonight.
Okay.
So it's a good time to come check the space out and talk to people about how to use it if you're in the neighborhood. So just getting ready for that, man. Open house tonight, and I'm saying just work. So just always trying to maintain a sleep schedule, always trying to maintain correct diet and exercise. So just trying to balance. I got some good balance going on right now. So just
Man,
trying to maintain that. You know what I'm saying?
that's the word. That's the
Yeah.
word. Balance. Balance. So yeah,
Yep. Yep.
that's there you go, y'all. Make sure you take care of yourselves, take care of
At
your
least
life.
try. At least
Right,
try.
right, 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 right.
How
So
you doing today, buddy? What's going on
man,
with you?
same thing, man. Trying to strike a good work-life balance, as they say, taking care of the babies. We're kind of talking before the show. Haven't really been outside in the last couple days. If you
Yes.
missed the Wednesday show, of course, I had the pleasure of meeting Webster and interviewing him
Hey,
for
hey,
the
that's
We
Mr.
Outside.
Lewis, Mr.
Mr. Lewis,
Emmanuel Lewis.
excuse me, Mr. Emmanuel Lewis, straight out of Brooklyn.
I'm
So
calling you,
yeah,
brother.
yeah. That was kind of the highlight of my week. So after that, I've just been in the house, cutting
Wh-
video and doing other work, and chilling with the kids and things like that.
While they're rioting outside in the streets.
Yeah, right. That's what I was gonna get to next. But I look at the news like, oh, Atlanta's in a state of emergency. Oh, there's
Yeah.
police cars burning in the streets. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on outside. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I am right now. We'll get into
Well,
all that a little
well,
later on.
before we get to it, I'll jump back in the chat real quick. Rick Fulton says Wanda told me to listen, but my thoughts are my own. That's what we need. We need your thoughts.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
appreciate that
yeah.
very much. Tracy Shot gives us a good morning. Good morning to you, Tracy. What's going on? Appreciate you coming on through. Rick says I applied for $11 million to the Wayne Legislative Committee, but was not recommended.
Okay.
So definitely got to talk a little bit about what's going on with that process, because I'm understanding that a lot of people didn't understand it. We certainly didn't. We applied,
Nah,
didn't get recommended either, and then learned about why later on. So we'll definitely be talking about that.
yeah.
Precious McKenzie says, Rick, what was your project? And
My
here we
thoughts.
go. Our chat
My
talks to each other too, just to let you know how that works.
yeah, yeah. So feel free to respond. But that was
Yeah,
actually my question to you as well.
I was gonna say good morning to Precious first of all, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's all I was
That
saying.
was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Rick, feel free to respond, but that was my question as well. And yes, also, good morning to Precious. Thanks for politicking with us yet again.
Yes, yes. And of course, that we'll be politicking with P on Wednesday. So those of you know who Precious McKesson is, definitely come on through. Precious says, lastly, can we quit calling it the Wayne Project? Well,
Mm,
this is what we're talking about. So we are gaining more information every time we talk to the brothers. They've agreed to come on again so we can talk again. And yes, what we collectively understand so far right now is that this thing is a process. The brothers help push this bill through, but it's legislative stuff, so it
mhm.
doesn't fall on one or if one person can have the power in the legislature, we'd be in real trouble. So
Man, yeah, yeah, yeah,
in the meantime, between time, there's a few other things we got to talk about before we get to the senators. So,
yeah.
buddy, let them know what's going on in the world right now, because there's some stuff
Yeah,
going on.
man, it's gonna be an interesting day, man. So definitely strap in your seatbelts. Welcome to everybody who's tuned in. Again, tell a friend to come on through and chill out with us. Again, big shout out to all the chat chimers, ghost listeners, first and last time listeners. It's okay, we appreciate you. Well, come on back, come on back. But yeah, man, we do have a lot to talk about. Speaking of legislation, I'm going to dive into this gun legislation again. Inland Pillin, as we like to call him around here, is now the governor of Nebraska, and he has hit the ground running. Of course, we've talked about some of his education legislation. Again, $1 billion proposed, but his big proposal, kind of the pledge that he made before he even got in office, was about gun legislation. So we'll talk about that again. We had a lot of conversation about people going to Lincoln today, but there was some activity yesterday that we have to talk about. So we'll definitely dive into that. Also, speaking of activity, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, is going down here in Atlanta. Cop City is the buzzword in the city right now. Someone has lost their life as a result of this conflict between protesters and the Atlanta police. And now Atlanta is in a state of emergency. That's the news as of about 15 hours ago. So we'll dive into what's going on with that and continue our conversation about police. Of course, there's a sad situation going on in Memphis where 5 police officers have now been convicted and fired for the death of Tyree Nichols.
Not convicted yet; they're charged.
Well, there you go. Charged. Excuse me. You have to go through the process. But the fact that they're charged is still very interesting. And even more the fact that they have been fired so quickly. So, again, if you haven't heard about this story, we'll give you a little background and dive into it. Of course, we also want to talk about the 1619 project that's set to premiere on Hulu, I believe. If you don't watch TV and if you're like Paul and haven't caught wind of the promo out there, again, this is something that's very interesting. Of course, thinking back to the conversations and debates about CRT, expect him to continue, man. So again, 1619 project, we'll get into that and more for the next 2 hours. This is First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you. Let's go.
Let's get it rolling. What up? Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, man, welcome on this Friday, the 27th of January already. Black History Month coming up in a few days. Thanks for everybody that's joined into the chat this morning. Man, kick back, relax, see how the show goes. It's going well. I appreciate everybody that's gotten up this morning. We got special guests coming in the house. Brothers Senators Terrell, McKinney, and Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names. Coming on through to give us what we call the legislative report. Still much to talk about when it comes to the process of the ARPA funds. Yo.
Also, almost forgot, man. We got Brother Terrence Hayes coming through as well.
Nope. Yep. I was getting to Brother Sherman Wells is coming through a little later on the day. So, he's our guest after the senators come through. Sherman Wells will come through because we got some stuff to talk about what's going on 24th Street. And we've all heard about the controversy that was happening there. We want to hear from the brother's mouth on what happened and what's going on. So get your questions ready for Brother Sherman Wells as well. So it's going to be a good packed day today of the brothers coming in and having some good conversations. So again, Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne coming on here pretty soon. We're going to jump into some news before they get here. And then after they show up a little later on, Brother Sherman Wells is going to come on through and let us know what's going on in the hood. So, good show today. And then, of course, we're going to have an extensive haps a little later on today as well. So stay tuned for that. Jump into the chat again real quick. We asked Brother Fulton here what his project was. He says to put a professional baseball team at what is now Charles Schwab Field downtown. Jobs and businesses for North Omaha. Sounds like a good plan. He says right now the stadium is vacant thanks to Mecca. Okay. So we'll definitely take a look at it. Precious says, look, y'all know I'm never up this early and also late to my own slot. Yeah. Ariel 402 says my heart goes out to Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta's in the state, bro.
Man.
And the Precious is telling us to pray for Memphis. Tonight they will release the video. It's going to be the police cam video of the attack on the brother that passed away, and like you said, it will not be pretty. So lots going on, man, in our world. Let's go ahead and jump into it so that we can have we can get through this before the brothers come on.
Man. Yeah, because there's a few things to get into. So let's kick off with our own backyard, if you will. Again, as I mentioned, we had a lot of conversation throughout the week about sending people to the state capitol today to support again, Brother Terrell McKinney's bill, actually, as far as the racial impact statements for bills. But there's a lot going on yesterday in Lincoln that we should also be paying attention to. Legislative Bill 77 was debated on the floor, and dozens of Nebraskans, according to Omaha World Herald, stood in long lines Thursday at the state capitol to testify for and against the latest attempt to allow residents to carry concealed weapons without a permit. Again, this is something we should definitely pay attention to. I don't know if you remember my kind of explanation of what I saw when I moved down here to Atlanta, but Georgia has a similar law, and there's guns everywhere. I'll just be honest, everybody got a gun, man. So it's a very very interesting dynamic to live in. But this could be soon Nebraska. Again, if this bill does find its way through the legislature, again, Legislative Bill 77, which was introduced by State Senator Tom Brewer, would allow Nebraskans over age 21 to carry concealed weapons without a permit. Brewer says he has actually tried to push this bill since he first took office in 2017. This is also referred to as constitutional carry in reference to gun rights. Advocates believe that the U.S. Constitution already gives people the right to carry concealed weapons without a permit. The meeting started at 1:30 and stretched until 6 p.m. So again, for those of you who are planning on going down to Lincoln today to speak, prepare to be there. Again, this can take a few hours, among other things, if you have other bills that you want to speak on. So prepare to be there for a while. Currently in Nebraska, getting a concealed carry permit requires a few steps. You have to pass a criminal background check. You have to actually go down to the sheriff's department to pass that check. You also have to pay $100 fee and also take an 8 to 16 hour gun safety class. I do have my permit. I have gone through all of these steps, and I will say, I'll just kick this conversation off by saying all those steps are necessary. Yeah, that's where it stands right now as far as gun control. But it speaks to a bigger culture, bigger thing as far as looking at Nebraska's investment in prisons. Again, they're building another prison and already talking about that's going to be overcrowded as soon as they build that. So they're going to ask for another prison after that. There's also many facilities in the Omaha area that's being built. So again, where are these laws going? What do you think is the next step if they just allow everybody to have guns?
It's a good question. I watched a lot of the legislative sessions yesterday. Shout out to Angie Phillips and the Progressive Legislative Study Group. They broadcasted that live over Facebook from Nebraska media. So yeah, got to watch this. Turned it into my favorite soap opera. Watching that mess. And it was really, really interesting to see how many people were came through to speak on this, and you already know what it was. So I kind of watched the proponents for a while and listened to what they had to say about why this law was okay. And then I was very surprised by the opponents that came in, and that's when you start seeing police and people like that coming in, like like Brother Fulton in here saying, he says, I'm not a fan of the police union, but I appreciate Schmatter and Hansen testifying against LB 77. So they came in, of course, to testify against it. They don't want concealed carry. It's going to make their job harder. A lot of good points. A lot of good points happened yesterday. But I will say that I think, for me personally, I don't think that I want. I know that I don't want more guns and proliferation of guns happening, and people walking around with concealed guns. Nobody know. You got guns on your mind every time you walk out of the house and go anywhere and do anything. You already feel like that because of the climate that we live in right now. But now, people can go if this passes, they can go get guns with no permits or no nothing. Anybody can just go get one and just be walking around with it under their coat, and that means everybody gonna have one. So.
I'll put it like this: just be careful where you get gas, or pay attention to where your gas is in Georgia. Because if it's late night and you somewhere and you ain't supposed to be, or in the wrong neighborhood and you low on gas, you might want to be careful what gas station you stop at,
bro. Another interesting thing that happened when I was watching yesterday is when Brother Terrell McKinney chimes up, because when he chimes up, then you about to get a serious question. Rick Fulton said this in the chat too. He says Terrell McKinney wanted to know why police stop people of color all the time. So while all this conversation is going on, Brother McKinney is presenting his own narrative. Well, okay, why is it you want this to happen, but you don't want it to happen in Omaha and Lincoln? You know what I'm saying? In the communities where black folks are, can you speak to any of that? He was stumbling them up left and right, man. So it's really interesting to see. Appreciate Angie Phillips and them broadcasting that. Ariel's 402 says no permit to carry a gun, but need a permit to vote. Senator Carol Blood brought that up. Oh, you need a license to vote, but we don't need nothing to get a gun, huh?
That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
very much so.
What was the name of that page that broadcast?
It was the Nebraska. Let's see, Nebraska Progressive Legislative Study Group.
Okay.
We just joined, just like their page, and because Andrew, those some of those folks are friends of First Sky Omaha, so
Mm-hmm.
definitely want to check them out. And it's Nebraska Public Media, so you can go, you can find it from there too. But they just made it easy for you to check it out on Facebook. We rebroadcasted it on Friends of First Sky Omaha, so everybody can watch it. But what struck me was that it's a long session, bro. I don't know if I'd be able
Yeah.
to sit there for all them hours listening to all that mess. Like, I had more respect for their job after watching that yesterday, for real.
Again, this bill was from 1 to 6. It's a 5-hour bill. Now, I'm sure that's not the only bill. Again, Precious said that about 800 or so bills have been presented. So,
Right.
again, and mind you, these people are only getting paid $1,000 a month to be there. So,
And basically, they're on their own time, really.
man. So, you did big shout out to the senators, and we'll get a chance to give them their flowers in their face. But I do want to kind of spin back around to a point. Shout out to Brother Rick Fulton. Thank you for coming through. Kind of mentioning the police, saying that he appreciates them testifying against it, because I do find that interesting. What would you call it, Paul? The greatest show on TV right now?
Yeah, it's my favorite soap opera, bro. It's my
Man,
stories.
great American drama. And if you really look at it, it is very interesting that the Omaha Police Department and the Omaha Police Union both oppose LB 77, and actually wrote a letter signed by 5 Omaha City Council members. Lincoln Police Chief Teresa Ewens, also spoke out against the bill yesterday. So a lot of opposition for this bill, which I find interesting when you look at the militarization of police. Again, we always talk about they don't want anybody else to have any guns, but they're buying mine-resistant tanks and
Come on,
2
man.
and 3, 4 and 5 helicopters. And again, they had the big deal with Tactical 88, which if you look at the numbers, Tactical 88 really got a deal. Like the swap was not an even swap, if you will. But they're doing deals and trading weaponry and things like that.
They killed
Every
that
time
swap, by the way. They didn't do the trade.
they did kill it. That is a good point. But still, look at the budget. Look at the city's budget and how much they're actually spending on the arsenal that they have, and who are they going to employ that arsenal on. So again, very interesting when you look at it from that perspective. And we're going to keep it pushing, because we do have the senators and we do want to give them their time to speak, because again, talking about the militarization of police, that is exactly what's going on and what's riling the people up here in Atlanta. Again, if you have not been paying attention, Atlanta is up in smoke, literally, as there's cop cars being burnt in the street as people are responding to I don't know their name, but there was a protester who was shot and killed by police during a standoff in what is being called Cop City. Cop City is a several, I believe, like a 85-acre training complex that police will be building in Atlanta, and that will be built in a wooded area of the metro Atlanta area. Again, there are several multi-billion-dollar corporations pouring money into this, kind of pushing city council, according to AJ Plus. Pushing city council to do this. Actually, city council did vote in favor of this construction. So protesters have been, again, protesting that decision. It is heating up. But again, this is yet another example in the militarization of police. And mind you, Atlanta has, had its own several police deaths in the past. I believe Brother McDonald was his name, that got killed at the KFC or the Burger King down here.
Oh, man. Man, I've been reading about that from I mean, you sitting over there in Atlanta right next to it, but you didn't see it. But I've been reading about this thing that's happening in this Cop City is being built right next to a place where there's a bunch of black and brown folks, like right next to the. Can you imagine they're building like a police military complex right next to the hood, and so every night you're in the hood, you're hearing gunshots, you hear it from the gun range. You hear they doing maneuvers over there. You got helicopters. You got tanks rolling around. Basically they're gearing up to come police you. They're gearing up to their, you know what I'm saying? Like you go right in the streets, they're gonna be right on you. We talk about that here in Omaha. We talk about how like when we had the protests in Freedom Summer 2020, we talked a lot about how they sent the National Guard over to Offutt, and then we talked about how that 75 was pretty much put there so they can have a straight shot to get right downtown, to get right in the hood if they need to. And we talk about how close that was. Can you imagine having a military complex right next door to the hood, though, like in the wooded areas right next door?
I mean, I just thought about something. You don't really have to go all the way back to 2020. Remember last year they had the police exercises in the projects. Remember that?
Blowing up stuff and not telling nobody they were blowing up. Right.
So again, it's not far fetched to attribute this kind of mentality, this culture, the militarization, to to the Omaha police as well, because we see it, and what is up? That's a good point. What is up with the the exercises in the middle of a neighborhood? And honestly, I did not know that. I did not know exactly where that was in the area surrounding this cop city. Again, 85 acres of land that will be developed, and we're talking about explosive training areas, shooting ranges, barracks, like a full military base. Hey, basically,
why don't you want to play that clip that you showed a little earlier? I'll jump
into
the chat while you pull that up.
Go ahead.
First of all, Amy Huffless and Stacey Jean are correcting you. It's not $12,000 a month; it's $12,000 a year that the senators make.
No, I said $1,000 a month.
1,000 a month, right? Arrows 402 says, not a gun owner. Definitely believe in the right to bear arms, gun state or not. Not paying attention to your surroundings and low on gas. You need to be hyper aware. Yeah, wherever you're at for that, for sure. Areas 402 says, at a moment's notice, Nebraska has to be able to guard against other states and enforce martial law because of Offutt. Marion Williams in the house says, good morning. All. Until recently, I was organizer for the Nebraska Progressive Legislative Study Group, and the mission is to help everyone learn about the legislative process and how to get involved. It's a great group to join to stay on top of what's happening legislatively here in Nebraska. Yep, that's about the third or fourth endorsement I got for that group, so I'm definitely paying more attention to them, and shout out to them for broadcasting what they broadcast yesterday for me to watch my favorite stories on TV right now, which is the legislative process. It's kind of a trip watching these folks. Gotta say, I had to take a break a couple times. Like I said, I can't. I don't understand how them brothers can sit there the whole day like that on that. I mean, that's the job. I guess it ain't for everyone. I don't know how they do it, because I was like, wow. After hearing 3 or 4 folks get up and folks that I wanted to just be like, are you crazy? Like I was hollering at the TV. So it's one of them kind of situations, man, for real. Ty Williams in the house gives us a good morning. What's happening with that? You got that video coming?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Let's take a look and see what's going on in Atlanta, Cop City. Check it out.
Several protesters were arrested during a police raid after a confrontation in which activists allegedly threw Molotov cocktails at officers. Forest defenders say authorities have continued to destroy tree houses during raids.
Sort of a main gathering.
As we toured the forest, we heard gunshots for hours.
And you can hear the gun firing.
That's coming from a police firing range that already exists nearby. The plan is to expand that into an 85-acre campus. That's as big as nearly 64 football fields put together. The facility would be one of the biggest in the U.S. As you can see here in a video plan provided by the Atlanta Police Foundation, among the training features will be a burn tower for firefighters, a shooting range, and a mock village, including a school and residential homes. But residents who live nearby say they were blindsided by the city's plan to expand the massive police facility.
This happened literally in my backyard. No one has reached out to me. I do see when they ask for votes. I do see that.
Shenard owns a tow truck business near the proposed facility and lives in a neighborhood that is more than 76% black.
Yeah, man. We'll put that link in there so you can watch that in its entirety. But very, very crazy how much they're, it's real apparent that they're setting up in order to just jump right next door into the hood and control everything.
Man.
And they're doing, and it's the same as everything. It's all based on fear. It's all based on well, what about all the school shootings? Or what about all of this or all that? We got to be ready for all this, and it's always justified to militarize up your situation based on how scared you are about a situation, but it's always black and brown people that get the brunt of those moves. It's a big deal.
Check this out. Big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot. Very similar.
Does kind of look similar. Kind of similar there.
This is Omaha. This is Tactical 88. That's what they're
88 right
planning.
there. Right. Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, man.
Got the kids out there playing soccer and then go shoot some guns.
Go have some pizza and some ice cream, you know.
Yeah, a whole village.
Family affair. Yeah. All right. Good correlation right there. Stephen Abraham says, I like the informative videos mixed with live conversation. Yeah, we're going to try to do a little bit more than that. William King says, crime is real. Most definitely real. Crime is definitely real.
So is the militarization of police.
So is the militarization of police. So is the oppression of black folks. So is the oppression of poor neighborhoods. All that stuff is there and real. And you better find some kind of balance, or else you in trouble.
It's the word of the day, man. It's the word of the day.
That's right. Appreciate everybody's comments on that for sure. 7:35 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners. Don't forget, we have brother senators Terrell, McKinney, and Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names coming in for a discussion. And then a little bit later, we're going to have brother Sherman Wells come in and talk about what's going on as well. William King says, 2 of my brothers killed by brother. Oh, wow. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, we got some deaths in our situation for sure. Especially this past couple of years for us. Not a good situation. It's always rough. But yeah, we got to try to strike a balance for sure. But anyway, yeah, I was just mentioning that brother Sherman Wells is going to come through and talk about what happened with him and the situation over there, and what's next is really kind of the question. What are we going to do next for movie nights, and what are we going to do next for Black business and all these things? So, we're always on that tip.
Villages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Speaking of villages, speaking of villages and developing, we got some work to do of our own.
Most definitely. Before we go to a break, man, I know you had a series of stories that you were tying together. You want to wrap that up?
Yeah. Man. Okay. I'm glad you tossed that back, because actually the kind of the camelback really off of Brother King. Speaking of brothers killing brothers, and police brutality and the militarization of police. Again, talking about what's going on in Memphis. And if you're not familiar with that situation, actually 5 so-called Black officers have now been charged with the murder and are now fired and are in jail for the murder and death of Tyree Nichols in Memphis. And again, this is something that has been really transpiring over the last month. In recent times, we've seen it takes a lot longer for officers to be charged. But again, this is a situation that actually went down earlier this month. On January 7th, there was a stop. And as Precious alluded to earlier in the chat, there will be some video coming out of that a little later on today, actually. But there was a police stop that transpired into a short chase. And then, of course, a commotion, a confrontation, resulted in men losing his life several days later. And again, now all 5 officers are being charged. They have, of course, varying degrees. Some stood by and didn't do anything when I guess they're supposed to stop. Some actually did the physical work, if you will. But again, this is 5 officers who are facing charges. And Paul, you kind of mentioned it when the George Floyd situation kind of came to an end, and the Chauvin trial reached its conclusion, and then the following trials, that was a turning point. And what do you think about this? Do you feel like that's more of the same? Do you feel like this is kind of proof of what you were thinking and feeling then with these officers, regardless of their race, being charged so quickly?
That's a complicated question.
Okay,
complicated answer.
Break it down.
Well, here's the reason why I felt like it was important for us to mention it, because a lot of people are. I've gotten a lot of calls personally. People wanting to know what we think about this situation, and I think it's a good opportunity for us to talk about this situation on 2 different levels. Based on how it is that we talk about things here on this show, which is it's very interesting that these cops got fired and are getting charged with murder so quickly. If they were 5 white cops, I don't think that would happen. I'm gonna say that. I'm from California. I'm from Rodney King land. So, so as far as I'm concerned, I can't leave that out of the equation. But I also think it's a good opportunity to bring up the fact that when we talk about police culture, that hasn't really got nothing to do with the race. Whoever it is that believes in police culture and they're there perpetuating that, we're talking police culture. We're talking police training. and then stuff like this happens, and then of course they want to try to act like this is a bunch of bad apples, I guess. Whole crate full of bad apples this time, I guess. But no, that's I like to I always have to remind myself, I got to go back to what it is that I feel like, how I feel this situation is, and I feel like it's a culture. There's a culture there that allows for this kind of stuff to happen, no, they may not want it to happen. It's not really supposed to happen, but it's easy to happen because of the culture and the training. And it doesn't really matter who it is, but anybody that's buying into that culture and that training, unless they are just, I mean, these days, I mean, ask Mark Gonzalez. I mean, Greg Gonzalez.
Man,
You have to doggone be an activist that don't get along with no police officers in order to act right as a police officer. That's the only way that you can fight that culture is to go against the whole squad half the time. Like you gonna get persecuted if you try to call out bad behavior and stuff like that.
man.
So yeah, it's messed up. Precious is reminding me about this. It says they were about a police unit called the Scorpions. So this is one of these training day style groups of going out trying to handle some special business, and they only been in place for less than a year, and already somebody died by their hands. So yeah, that's rough. Precious says the video will be released at 7 p.m. last I saw. Von Chapman is in the chat. He says, good morning. No matter how you feel about gun ownership, you would be better off having it and not needing it than needing it and not having it. Okay. Ariel's 402 says, yes, the officers would have been white. They would have been paid on paid leave. History says so. That's right.
Man, we call it vacation around here.
Call it vacation. Also Ariel's 402 says, I cannot support qualified immunity. Let's get back to that discussion, please. Qualified immunity. Precious says that the five police were a part of a unit called Scorpion. Right. Carolyn Jack, good morning, says something made me think made them think they can do this without consequence.
That badge, they call it a shield, right? What is it blocking? What is it protecting from?
They know what qualified immunity means. Pops in the house says, I agree with Paul. When I read about this situation and the officers quickly being fired and held accountable, I thought at last, but I had a funny feeling that these officers were not white. Right. We've seen this before. This is not speculation. We've seen this before too. There's a situation in Minneapolis where a black cop killed a white woman and immediately was fired and charged. That's just what it is. It happens that way.
I will mind to remind the people that 3 of the officers in the Chauvin trial, I don't want to keep calling it the George Floyd case because George Floyd wasn't, the one on trial, but Chauvin, the officer, was on trial, and 3 other officers were on trial, and I believe 3 of them were officers of color, if you will. 1 brother and 2 Asians, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, deep stuff. Marianne Williams says, just my opinion, but I think this case is way more nuanced than most of the others, and maybe we can learn from it. Memphis police chief is a black woman, and 2, the DOJ inserted themselves almost immediately, which doesn't happen usually either. And yes, it's not black versus white culture; it's blue culture.
Man,
appreciate that comment. Let's see, we got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, we do have to wrap it up here and kind of conclude. It's just about 15 minutes left in the first hour. Again, we're here for another whole hour, so stay strapped. We do have our special guest coming in, but I did want to respond to Sister Marianne Williams for talking about the DOJ inserting themselves almost immediately. It was interesting. The grand jury are the ones who returned this indictment. Again, it wasn't a judge or it was a full grand jury, which I believe it is like independent. It's a full independent thing, kind of as we see here in Omaha when there are police related incidents, and you have to have an independent grand jury come in. So yeah, very interesting how this was handled. We'll definitely keep our eyes on this situation to see how it plays out. I'm along with Precious. I do think that there will be some more energy inserted into the community once this video comes out. We'll see which way that goes, but either way, prayer is going out for Memphis.
For sure. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back in. We got the brother senators waiting in the wings. Stay tuned. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Caught Buddy sniffing the nose. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. All Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners. Appreciate everybody that is in today, and we appreciate our next guests coming in. Man, after a long day in the legislature, I'm sure that you guys are very, very tired this morning. I watched it on TV yesterday, and I'm tired just watching it. Brothers Senators Terrell, McKinney, and Justin Wayne, put some respect on their names. Thanks for coming in this morning. Appreciate you guys, man. How you doing? How you guys feeling?
Good. How you doing?
Terrell, you already went down to Lincoln, man. You got up early, huh?
Yeah, I got a meeting at 8:30.
So still doing the work, man. We definitely appreciate y'all, and we won't hold on to you for too long. Appreciate you sharing your time with us. Yeah, I guess kind of how you feeling? Where's your mind, Paul? What do you?
Bro, I gotta say I got a new respect for you guys' job. Like I knew it was tough, but I made myself sit there and watch the whole session yesterday, and I kept going. How are they sitting here this whole this is a long day, bro? Listening to all this listening to mess, like I was like I got a new respect for this job here. I don't know if I'd be able to sit there all day like that. So I know you guys must be tired. What's your takeaways from what happened yesterday? Just to start us off.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday it was a gun day in Judiciary. So as chairman of Judiciary, I put all the gun bills together. So because they're typically the same constituents who want to come down and testify, and so we had about a 6-hour hearing yesterday. It went well, and now today we got a couple more hearings that one. They'll probably get done about 5. But the big thing I want to tell everybody is the governor announced his budget, if I hopefully it'll get posted in here in the chat room, but y'all need to go check it out because we have about extra about 2.3 billion, and I can tell you with confidence that in his budget about 1.9 or 2 billion of that is going to Western Nebraska. It's not touching Omaha or Lincoln, and so. But just to be blunt about it, everybody's upset about the money that we got, and people are complaining. Right now, that's being used against us to go after the extra 200 or 300 million that we might be able to get for Omaha. There's some water projects, 2 lakes. Now they're talking about 2 lakes between Omaha and Lincoln. One's for Lincoln's water supply. They need a new water supply, and one's a recreational lake. I had a senator come up to me yesterday and said we can sure use this money in our irrigation districts out in Western Nebraska. Basically, since everybody seems to be mad about the huge investment we made in North and South Omaha, then maybe we shouldn't make any more investments. So that's where we at.
Wow. That's what you guys are having to deal with that with other senators up there. They got their own pet projects that they want this money for in the first place.
Correct.
And that's how they're acting. That's how they're acting with you.
That was yesterday's conversation. That's why you didn't see me on a mic a whole lot yesterday, because I was in that if I say something, I'm probably gonna get in trouble mood.
Yeah. I was hollering at the TV, bro. Like I was like, I don't see how these brothers do this job. Brother McKinney, you have put some posts out. I pay attention to your posts because you don't post much, and when you do, you come in, you say some real hard 1 or 2 sentences that got everybody woke. When you post, and you've been posting some powerful stuff lately. How you feeling? What's going on with you? Let me hear it from your mouth. What's going on, bro?
I'm good, honestly. I mean, it was some stuff said that was disappointing, but honestly, I'm cool. I know where I stand with some people, and you just move forward and keep doing the work. It's nothing to keep holding on to. But I saw comments like "have tough skin," so I hope people have tough skin when I respond. But it's not to even be petty; it's just to be honest. And people are saying things, but when we go dig through these proposals, a lot of people didn't even answer a lot of questions, but they complaining that they didn't get something. If we got to be honest here, like we didn't evaluate the projects or recommendations, but we getting a backlash for it. Nobody has gotten any money yet. Then people are asking questions about, oh, don't fund the old people or don't fund the new people. And I'm like, so who are we supposed to support? Honestly, if nobody wants the traditional people to get whoever the traditional people are to get support, or nobody wants a new person to get something, I guess nobody wants anything. I don't know. I'm cool. You just learn and you see where people at and you just move accordingly. People. And then you talk about the gun thing. I heard a comment: "Crime is real. If crime was real, we wouldn't spend so much money reacting to crime. We would spend more money preventing it." The police chief in Omaha came down here yesterday and pretty much said on that gun bill that if it passed, uh, the disproportionate amount of arrest of black people would decrease. Nobody want to pay attention to that. Like when we talk about different things, there's a lot of nuance in it, and we got to understand that.
Hold on. So you said the chief opposed the bill, but said in his opposition statement that if this does pass, his reason for opposing it is that the disproportionate amount of arrests for black people will go down.
They want to use. They don't want it to pass because they want to use the city ordinances as a tool to target people. And I asked them, so what you're saying is, if this passes, will the disproportionate amount of black people being arrested in Omaha potentially decrease? And he said yes.
So understand the bill, and this actually a lot of people in Omaha are against this bill because
it's an LB 77.
Yeah, it's a permitless carry, and so basically it wipes out city ordinances. This isn't about officer safety. Basically, when you turn 19, you can carry a gun and you can carry it concealed. The rationale behind it is you don't have to go take a class to go how to vote. You don't have to go take a class to learn how to buy property. So any other fundamental right, you don't have to go take a class and do all this extra stuff to exercise your right, whether we agree with that or not. But the point of it is all these when you get bumped up, somebody got some smoking weed in the car, they search the car, there's a gun underneath it. It could be a registered gun, but the fact that it's underneath is concealed. And so these city violations typically hurt young black kids more and poor kids more because they're better off having a gun on the dashboard when a cop comes because it's open and it's not illegal. But we think in our mind, let's put it underneath the seat, even though it's a legal gun, everything, but you don't have your carry concealed. So there's a lot of kids who get bumped up in this. And the chief was I give the chief credit. He was just being honest. He was like, yeah, you're going to have less black folks getting charged with this. And so I respect the chief for just being honest. Like we use it as a tool to bump up gang members, to bump up people who are, committing crimes. But what it really comes down to is it's just another charge they can put on people. And unfortunately, it's disproportionately affecting black and brown people. And the chief just admitted it. Like, that's just facts.
And I got to give Brother McKinney some credit on that because nobody was really asking that question until he asked that question and made the chief answer that question. So number one, it's just boy, I'm glad we got brother Senator sitting in there. You know what I'm saying? Or else we would have never even heard that piece. Say again.
I said no. I'm a sellout.
Man.
Here we go. See, man, I knew it was gonna come. But I mean, so let me just back up and tell people how government works. It's a high super level.
Please.
We pass bill, like, so we are the appropriator. So we give the money or we create a new law. It is up to the governor to implement that. So we could pass a budget and say, we're going to give First Sky $5 million. And it's in their line item budget. And the governor says, okay, fine. He sends that to his agency, whether it's DD, DAS, like whatever agency the money goes to. That agency can tell, no, we ain't giving it. We know what the law says, but they don't have its proper form, or we don't think it complies with law. So we ain't going to do it. Or the governor could say, well, there's some nuances in there and you didn't specify which first guy. Because there's this first guy in Western Nebraska who meets the same definition. He might sit in his basement and just do, a show once in a while, but you didn't narrow it down to Omaha in a qualified census 4 miles from the airport. I didn't put all that extra language in. So he can give it to somebody else. So right now, the conversation on the committee, from what I'm hearing from just senators talking, is, well, we'll just give it to the governor to disperse all this money because he's going to do it anyway. And what that means is now you got North Omaha competing with downtown projects. Go look at the projects that are out there.
Man.
There are some folks that are heavily connected, like the Jay Noddles, the Arun. And I like Arun and Jay. I'm not saying anything wrong, but they got projects downtown that probably have a bigger economic impact, that probably are building skyscrapers downtown, which one of them was. That if we start competing against them and we throw out this whole Olson study, I don't know how North and South Omaha is going to fare. But we not talking about that because people are in their emotions about their one project. And I'm like, let's sit down and talk about your one project. Well, you didn't put down this. You didn't do that. I can walk them through everything that I see. I have no problem doing that. But at the end of the day, the governor's office is the implementator. And you have to go back no farther than Medicaid expansion. We passed that thing like 6 years ago, and he didn't implement it until just like 2 years ago. Like that's how it works.
Right.
That's the reality.
Before we get any further here, there was a hiccup here on my end on the chat. And so I just want to make sure everybody from Facebook and YouTube is in the chat. It's awful quiet. Maybe it's just awful quiet because we listen to what the senators have to say. Appreciate that. But if you have any questions for the senators, please put them in now. I did see a question a little earlier. Stephen Abraham is in the chat. He says, a question for the senators: would the gun bill improve inner city situations in regard to gang violence? Yeah, definitely good question to ask there. Don't want to get off topic, but maybe we can jump and answer that question for them real quick and then jump back to where we're at.
Are we in a good place now with it not passing? I mean, I'm not saying it's going to improve, situations or anything, but I do think we have to, which is why racial impact statements are important, because we got to really think about laws that we're passing and the impacts that it will have on our community, negatively or positively. I'm not saying it's going to improve that situation, but I will say I'm all for decreasing the amount of times Black people are arrested by police. So we got to deal with that. We got to weigh that option as well.
So are you in support of LB 77 or not, senators?
We had some phone calls last night with the police union, and I'm trying to see if we can find a happy medium to get this bill passed. Where I struggle, not only with Senator McKinney's point, I struggle that if you have a fundamental right, no matter where you are in the state, it should be treated the same. We're not going to say because you Black or brown, we got to put some special provisions in. So that's where we're trying to struggle. This is Senator Brewer's priority bill. It's died the last couple of years. So I'm, as a committee chair, my job is to try to help every bill figure out a path forward if it's even there. So that's my job right now, is to sit down with Brewer, sit down with the opposition and say, is there a path forward? If there isn't, cool. But I think there's some things we still got to work on before I jump on all the way to supporting it. But those are the two issues that I struggle with. Like I said, it's the nuances.
Yeah, I hear that. We of course are going to be running out of time. We got so much to talk to y'all about that you're going to be gone before we get anywhere close to near. We have a new listener here, a new chat chimer, Rick Fulton, that has a couple questions. And
Rick ain't new. Rick all over the place.
He new to this show. I think it's his first time watching it. This is his first time watching this show, though. He's new to this show. He said, does Mike Hilgers have any more to say about these proposals? Will you ask his advice any? I'm losing him. Where'd he go? Ask his advice any longer now that he is in the AG in AG's office? And also, his other question was, what kind of businesses will arrive at Wayne's Airport Park? You can call it Wayne's Airport Park.
Wayne's World.
So the idea, just real quick. So Mike does not have any more say kind of in unless somebody asks him for AG's opinion, anything to do with the legislature in that regards. As far as the airport business part, there's two parts of it. There's a southern part of it, which is more of an innovation district where we're talking about wet labs, dry labs, anything that will start up with a business, you can walk from start to finish. That you'll be able to do marketing, business plans. If you ever seen, I would tell you check out Kendall District in Cambridge, Boston. I would tell you check out some areas in St. Louis. I would tell you check out the Russell Innovation Center in Atlanta. Like those are kind of the building points that we're trying to do with the Innovation District. The rest of the business park on the north side, you're talking about Pacific Engineering has committed to coming down. A modular home has committed. Manufacturer has committed to coming down to North Omaha. Right now, just them two alone are about 400 jobs. So you're looking at more like light manufacturing and building that out. And right now, it seems like we can do about 2,000 jobs and those jobs being anywhere from $60,000 and above.
Man,
Okay.
that's what we need. That's what we need. So with what everything stands right now, I know that there's like a lot of division happening. We talked about it a little bit Wednesday. I've never seen. This is the first time I've seen personally like the lack of communication, the division that I hear about for years and never really experienced all the way until this last couple of weeks, where I'm just shocked at some of the things that people are saying and not understanding and not reading and not talking to y'all about, to be frank on that. Where we stand now, these projects like this, like the airport project, though, this stuff is still needing to be backed and pushed, right? This is we as a community can still come through and say, yes, we really want this, we really need this, because there's more steps coming that you guys don't really have control over. That is, that means that we still need to influence people like the governor, for instance, who's got to sign off on this. Are we in that state right now where like we as a people can go and say we still want this stuff to be backed? The ones who are reading this stuff, understanding it, getting it, and wanting it to come to Nebraska, to the north side. Do we have any pull there? Any say?
So Senator McKinney has two bills that are, at least one, a bill that deals with the airport, the overall grant stuff. I don't remember the bill number, but when he gives you that bill number, go online and make online comments, and those actually are read by the senators during the hearings. So that's what I would tell you. There's two bills in that regards, and there's another bill that Senator McKinney has for iHub, more dollars into an innovation area. Like, so there's things that he's pushing that we all got to get behind.
Okay.
That kind of makes me think to the opposite of that, to the contrary, for those who in our community, amongst us who are speaking out against those who are getting, funded, and, feel like those who are getting suggested for funding, let's say it like that. Can those be used against us? Can those be used by senators to point at those, people in our community that's kind of speaking against this, to say, hey, they don't want this. Hey, they don't need that. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, it can be used against us if people are jumping out the window trying to taint the process and say something was wrong when they didn't get, funding. It shouldn't be just about your project. You should be able to look at those that got recommended and see the potential value they could have for our community. I mean, you think about an innovation district where Black people could go work on their business ideas, cultivate innovation, get connected with funders, capital, all that type of stuff. What's wrong with having that in our community? Like, we got to step away from looking at the name and look at the idea and what benefit it could have for our community. There will be accountability measures placed upon this. People ain't just gonna get money and they won't have any accountability and they can't show no measurable outcomes. We've talked about all that. That has not been left off the table. I think people jump to these assumptions that people gonna get money and it's not gonna be accountability. There will definitely be accountability along with all this.
Man, I mean, it's starting beforehand. You gotta prove that you can do that. You got a good enough plan. You can do something with this money even before you get recommended for it. So, yeah, that makes sense. You guys have a big fight ahead of you, and I know that when you got a lot of people trying to calling you up and calling you sellouts and names and all kinds of stuff like that, that it makes it hard to go in here and battle. Like how is that? What can we do? What can we do to help y'all battle, to keep battling, if that's what you are in line to do here? Am I am I on track with just the job that you guys have, the things that you have to do now, where you're at with it, where you getting support, where you're not getting support? How can we
Help.
how can we help? Those who want to support, how can we help?
I mean, come down for the hearings once they're set, and if you got a question, just call us and ask the question. Don't jump to a wild assumption based on just not asking a question. I think communication is key. I think if we hear things and you be like, that don't sound right, just call and ask the question. Like, we answer our phones, we respond to texts and those type of things. But I'm not gonna run from a question because I have nothing to run from. Just ask the question instead of beating around the bush and making up stories.
Yeah, I hear that. Amy Huffless in the chat said, flipping quickly through the governor's budget, and I see nothing for public housing. Jumping back to that governor's budget that you put in, that you gave us to put in the chat, Brother Wayne. What are some of the things that stand out to you there? Did you see anything for housing in there?
No, there's nothing for housing. There's nothing for housing in there. So what he's basically done is left about 500 million on the floor, and what that means is our bills will eat up that 100 million. So we're going to be fighting over about 500 million. Now we can lower the governor's budget. We can make recommendations, and that fight is starting to happen. But like the biggest line item you're going to hear people say is he's putting $1.2 billion into education. Well, that's true, but not true. It's true in the sense of he's putting $1 billion into education, but the way the formula sets up in his budget, OPS gets zero. So what he does is he puts a whole bunch of money in OPS, but it changes the formula to where they lose equalization aid, state aid on the backside. So they come out even. West Side comes out with $10 million more. So when you look at those kind of things, that's what I mean. Like, you got to dig into it. It sounds good. Let's put $1 billion into education, but how does that actually help the areas we represent? And the answer in this case is none. It actually, all the money's going to Western Nebraska, because Western Nebraska right now gets no money from the state. So now this is a way for him to give Western Nebraska schools money from the state. So that 1.2 billion is all going to Western Nebraska. And we have people in Omaha cheering, saying he's putting $1 billion into education. Well, Omaha doesn't see any of it.
Jeez, man. Bro,
we doing there go Ricky with his West Side. I forgot he went to West Side. The other thing is he's putting 574 million or 565 million, something like that, into building a canal into Colorado. So that canal connects into Colorado at the South Platte to draw more water for irrigation farmers in Western Nebraska, because the water levels are dropping. And so we have this old compact. I ain't gonna get into all that, but just know that he's putting 500 million to get farmers more water. I'm not saying that's a bad idea, but there's not 500 million to East Omaha to help Omaha on the backside. It's not an even match.
Man, anyway, what are they going to do with that water? We've already talked about the nitrates. Are they going to regulate the water? Are they going to regulate it?
Well,
they go. So it's going to Colorado to make sure that we keep the Platte River full, so they can irrigate. My question to the governor and to everybody is, if Nebraska owns the water going into Colorado, can I smoke weed on the water in Colorado, or is it Nebraska and I can't? They can't answer my question.
Oh man! Speaking of questions, bro, Stephen Abraham got a question.
Chat's going off.
Chat's going off.
You gotta make a little bit of joke about it, because it starts to drive you crazy when you start seeing it. So you gotta make some jokes about it, because you just be like, damn, like Omaha is getting left out again.
Brother Senator, question for the senator. Some individuals said that they were confused about disclosure saying their business idea will become public records. Should that have been a problem in regards to submitting an application for funds?
It was a public process, a public proposal process. And I think it said it in the application before people applied, that if you apply, this will be public. I mean,
once again, another situation where people, we're not reading all the way through what's going right.
It's fundamental.
That's not our control, That's a public process.
It's fundamental.
This chat is out of control. You guys are gonna have to go back and kind of check out what's going on here, what's happening in the chat. Definitely check it out. And it's right now it's just to keep track of the time here. Eight coming up on 8:10. If you believe in the concept of time, I know Brother McKinney got a meeting coming up. So another 5 minutes with the senators, if y'all don't mind. Just want to make sure that we're going to have you on regularly so we can. There's so many things to clear up. There's so many things to talk about. So many questions to ask, and we don't want to just be asking random stuff that we could find out for ourselves. I mean, we could find out all this stuff for ourselves, but sometimes we need a little help with the interpretation on these things. So what we want to really encourage here is for everybody to read the budget, read these bills. All there we go. Okay. And pay attention to the legislature. Come down, like Brother McKinney is saying, be more part of this process. And as you can see, it's a nuanced process that is going to take a while for us really to understand and to master. And luckily, we have a couple senators that don't mind coming here and helping us get with that education process. But we got to look at like an education process. I know that I'm a musician, bro. This first couple of years of me just learning about any of this stuff. So it's one of them things where I know I got to keep on checking it out, keep on learning and understanding what's going on. Because even if even if it's not about money coming into North Omaha, I mean, it's always about money coming into North Omaha. That's really going to be what it is all the time. So the question is how much, and what's happening, who's going to get it, what's going on. What do we got to do to help y'all fight for it, and so on and so forth. If I'm always trying to like get the gist, wrap some things up, make it easy, make it digestible. Go ahead.
I think Sister Wanda Lewis. Actually, I think the chat chimer is coming through again. Sister Wanda Lewis kind of putting it how I would best put it, and I agree with her. She says that's what I'm talking about. The bigger economic impact. It's not which organization gets the funds, the longest existing or the newest. It should be about what's going to benefit the entire community and be held accountable, not to those who are self-serving without accountability. So I definitely agree with her. And then also further up, Sister Amy Hutful is coming through, says the climate in the community right now seems to be the perfect formula to incentivize y'all to try less. Speaking to the senators, says, I hope that is not the case. Stay encouraged, please. So kind of going with Paul is saying, I think Paul senses that, like, this it's hard to try to help people who then attack you. Like it's hard.
Let me be honest. I told Paul that the other day. I said, man, look, this has been a long process, and a lot of people don't know what my family been through last year. But after spending time away, going through this long process and getting beat all up over trying to help the community, it's hard when a senator comes up and says, well, we can use that money in Western Nebraska for me not to say, well, man, here, take it. Like I don't need the headache no more. Right now, I'm fighting criminal justice reform as judiciary chair. Next week, Senator McKinney got 3 bills up in front of our judiciary around sentencing and criminal justice. I put it in the chat, or the host did put it in the chat on the hearings. I mean, we're going to be spending 12-hour days down here and coming back to a community who's basically saying, nah, y'all did everything wrong. That's tough.
I'm glad you brought it up, man. I didn't want to speak for you and tell your business or nothing like that. When you got done telling me what you told me, I was like, bro, I don't blame you. How can I blame you? Like I'm seeing what's happening here. I'd have been gone, bro. I'd have been back in California, my feet up at the beach somewhere, bro. Like,
right near the beach.
Right near the beach. So you know me.
Same for you, Terrell. Same for you.
It's not even just fighting our community. It's outside forces that are literally trying to tear this all down. And I think our people are taking the bait. It's a lot of rich people in Omaha that don't want to see North Omaha succeed. And I'll leave it there. Y'all know the parties.
Man, no, I think just to be empathetic, I think that's tough, man. Like for me, that just I can feel it boiling. Like that has to be infuriating to go through your life, to go through everything that you have to go through to become a senator. Like to do that and then to fight and actually do the job and actually try to represent the people as they hired you to do, and then for them to come back and attack you. And then to have personal stuff, it's
not even to say we perfect or the process was perfect, but
no,
I just want consistency across the board. The city and the county had hundreds of millions of dollars. Nobody on them about where any of that money went. Ain't nobody waking up every day saying the city or the county did this or that with ARPA funds. But when it comes to us, we get held to the same standard when we got, what is it, $225 million in the recommendations, the city and the county basically used the same amount of money, but ain't nobody jumping down their throats about what they did with it. Nobody.
Right. And you didn't even do nothing. Olsen are the ones who put out the report. Like that part, like, we can't forget that part. They didn't do anything. They didn't recommend anybody. Like it's just.
But I want to double back on that. What Senator McKinney just said. Omaha got 111 million. Douglas County got 112 million. That's 223 million. We had 225, and nobody has said nothing. And so what Senator McKinney and I have been talking about, maybe we've been too transparent. Maybe we engaged the community too much, and now you can go in and look at other people's projects on how when the city and county did theirs, they listed their awardees, and that was it. There wasn't no who got what. It wasn't like where is it going and how does your project stack up to their project. It was none of that. It was, here's what we got, y'all go, and nobody said a word. And that's what's kind of disheartening to us, because they had the same amount of money we had.
Yeah, and I'll actually use this to acknowledge Brother Rick Fulton talking about Chris Rogers and the kids jail, quote unquote, that's been built downtown. Because Paul and I did, kind of speak up about the 10 million that they were supposed to. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, the county had specifically 10 million in ARPA funds that was supposed to go to housing, and it didn't, and somehow ended up going to this jail kids project. And nobody really said anything about it or really caused a real fuss. But I do remember that conversation and that happening.
I do know that there's been way more conversation about this, and I think it's exactly what Brother Wayne is talking about. When they gave way more information than we're ever used to having from any of these processes. And if you don't read this stuff out, and then you don't talk it out, and you don't ask questions when you don't know what's going on, and you just stay in your feelings about what you think is an outcome, then I can understand why they're getting all this backlash. And it's unfortunate, and all we can really do here is try to help with some of the communication, mitigate some of this stuff, and bring them on and talk, ask direct questions and so on. I want to spend another. It's about 8:16 right now. Just one more minute before I let you guys go, because what I want to do is we can keep talking about all of these things that we need to talk about. We need to continue to have these conversations. When you guys aren't on, we'll continue to have these conversations. We'll continue reading through these reports, reading through these budgets, understanding the process and relaying this process and speaking to it with our chat chimers. We'll keep doing that. And when we have questions, when you guys come on Fridays, we'll answer those questions. But for this last minute, I'd like to speak a little bit more to just the unity of the Black community, how we need to be giving brothers the benefit of the doubt. We need to get off of folks' backs. Everybody's human. Everybody got stuff going on, and we need to treat people with respect. I know these are brothers that put themselves in public office, and so that means that they represent us. We represent them, but that doesn't give any of us the right to be disrespectful, to not give folks the benefit. We around here are always talking about giving especially brothers the benefit of the doubt about anything that we have a doubt about in the first place, which if we were reading it clearly and really understanding better, we wouldn't have so many doubts in the first place. But the fact that when we do, we should be able to speak up and talk like men and ask questions. Real talk is what I call it. And every time we've done that, you guys have come on and gave us real talk back and real answers. And that's the reason why we got your back on this. And that's the reason why we're going to spread that gospel of just the brothers say they will answer the phone, call them and talk to them, ask them questions. Let's quit with all this in your feelings, infighting. There's enough separation in the Black community already. We don't need to do it even further by acting like that, by doing that. And I think if us and the chat chimers can start with that, then maybe we can spread that out to the rest of the community. I'm gonna bring it up every time now because I'm understanding what I'm seeing. I was flabbergasted for the last 2 weeks. I didn't know what I was like. Are you kidding me? What? Who? How, say what? Like I thought I was sitting in a meeting one time questioning my sanity, going, "Did I just understand? Did this brother just say?" Like I would, and now I'm getting it. Now I'm getting it, bro. People are in their feelings. They're calling up. They talking junk. It's like street rules. Like
man.
So anyway, I just want to speak to that, buddy. Please speak to that and the Senators.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to add real quickly because I know you got to go, but I just wanted to add, beyond. I want to push it more beyond what you're saying. I don't think we should just be respecting. We should definitely put some respect on their names, and that's why we say it. But I don't think we should just be respecting. We got to remember these are two brothers who are senators in Nebraska. They have a bullseye on their backs. Again, there's hate groups aplenty in Nebraska. We just talked about Tactical 88 and Gun Village that's going to be built out west, and speak on how you feel about guns, but just understand we are in Nebraska.
Well, they in the legislature, they already got a fight with in the unicameral. So like they already got a fight. Like they said, they don't need to come back to the hood and fight too.
Exactly. My point is we shouldn't just be respecting, we should be protecting them. Like we should have that energy. Like let's protect these brothers. Let's look out for these brothers because they got a bullseye on their back, literally. They're two black senators in Nebraska. Let's come together.
Brothers, are we on the right track? Are we is this reasonable for us to say these things, or are we way off? Let us know.
Yeah, you good. I would say some of the worst hate groups is the ones that fund all the nonprofits in the Omaha. But I'm all for unity and accountability. I'm not running from that. I signed up to be an elected official, so I signed up to be criticized. But criticize me on my policy decisions and those type of things. I'm not going to attack you personally. Don't attack me personally. Like if you got a question, I'm never going to run from it. I'm gonna answer that question and be honest about it. And that's I just want fairness and consistency across the board. If you're gonna judge us, judge everybody else that had ARPA funds in the state of Nebraska. And if you're not gonna do that, you have no right to criticize us.
There you go.
I'm just gonna leave it with that.
Okay. Actually, looks like Paul froze. I think my man Paul froze. So yeah, we definitely appreciate y'all. We're not gonna hold on to you for much longer. I know you got meetings and things to do, so you got work to do, and so do we, man. So we appreciate you. We got your back tenfold. Whatever you need from us, let us know. And yeah, until next time, fellas. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Peace. All right, there you go. I'm not in control of the show, so I can't really cut to a break or do too much. So here we are. We're just chilling. I definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in. Again, big shout out to the dynamic duo. I will say Batman and Robin, but I don't think Robin fits. Batman and Black Panther. We'll say that. But the big shout out to the Senators, Terrell, McKinney, and Justin Wayne for coming through and spending, taking time out of their busy schedule to speak with us. So we definitely appreciate them. Also, big shout out to all the chat chimers out there for jumping into the chat. Really appreciate y'all. Man, keep jumping into the chat. Keep the conversation coming. We do have Brother Sherman Wells coming up in a bit. I'm not sure what Paul has going on, but hopefully we can get this tech going and get him on in a second. But let's go ahead and go to the chat. Again, appreciate everyone for jumping in. Make sure you tell a friend to come on through. Definitely check us out. Friends of First Sky Friends of First Sky Omaha on Facebook. There we go. That is the group page. That is where the conversation continues beyond the show. And you can also go there to watch old episodes of the show or rewatch this episode if you miss anything. Also go to YouTube to do the same. But big shout out to Mama God in the chat. She says, brothers, keep up the fight. You see it face on and don't be discouraged. Represent with your whole heart, period. So again, more support for the brother senators. Also, Ariel's 402 in the chat says, Democrats are born, Republicans are made. It's an interesting comment. Also, Stacy Jean, good morning to you, saying a lack of willingness to understand the process for ARPA funds seems to be a huge problem. And it does. Again, reading is fundamental. Maybe we should just go ahead and post a link to the actual report on Friends of First Sky on Facebook. Again, it is available on the legislative website. But yeah, it's out there. It's out there. And I mind you that we're one of the groups, we're one of the organizations that did not get the money that we asked for. Again, we put in a proposal because I'm a believer. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So we threw something up and it didn't really, we didn't score, but we threw something up and now we were in the game. So, for those who did put in a proposal, just go back to the drawing board. Let's get out of our emotions. Let's come together, because as you see, we're gonna end up infighting and just fumbling the whole bag. So let's get it together, y'all. Let's come together and let's do better. So
Check 1 2. Can you guys hear me?
there you go. Paul is back.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I see you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're all
Okay,
good.
okay.
Let us know in the chat. Can you? Am I back? Are we back? Yeah, man. Big explosion outside in Benson that just happened right now and took down all the internet and everything.
You serious?
Off the phone? Yeah, I just hit you on the text about it. Yeah, just jump me off. Yeah, I see everybody's back. So Pop says I'm good. Precious says we see you. Okay, cool. Amy Huff was I was expecting some of this opposition to show up with the protection of their laptop keyboard, but crickets. right. We got a whole bunch of keyboard gangsters around here.
Man,
Lewis says some of these city parks are pushing out their surrounding community by building baseball fields and basketball courts and locking them up. They are not only for the purpose of the scheduled events in the community has no access to them. So unfair to include the outdoor restrooms. All of this went down without community input. Big business philanthropy, for real. Okay, cool. I'm glad we're back, and we got my brother Sherman Wells sitting in the wing. So we're gonna go ahead and bring him in. He's been sitting waiting long enough. Good morning, my brother. Hey, I like that T-shirt.
Hey.
Good morning, my brother. Appreciate
Man.
you
What's
coming
happening?
through this morning. What's happening, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How y'all brothers doing, man?
Man.
Working through a little technical difficulties this morning, but we're here.
Yeah, Paul, you said there's an explosion over there. I hope everything is cool in Benson. I hope everybody is all right, man. Prayers out to Benson. Not sure what's going on out there, but
some kind of transformer explosion, I think, is what happened, bro.
Man, hopefully everybody is all right, man. So yeah, definitely stay safe out there. But yes, Brother Wells, thank you for joining us. I actually want to pick up right where kind of, Sister Wanda Lewis is leaving off with her comment and talking about the parks, talking about baseball courts and basketball courts, the city's use of them, the community's use of them, and kind of what's going on and what brings you here with us today. For those of you who aren't familiar, Brother Wells actually is a community activist, doing the work I've been watching, specifically what you've been doing down at the Bryant Center over the last few years, and definitely proud, of the work that you have been able to do. But it seems like that there's been a hiccup in that a little bit. So do you want to give a backstory, a little bit about who you are? I'm sure a lot of people in the chat probably already know, but for those who don't, kind of, bring them up to speed, and then, set up the Bryant Center situation however you want.
Okay. Yeah, well, Sherman Wells, born and raised Omaha, Nebraska, from the birthplace of Malcolm X. You know how we represent the north side of Omaha. Yeah. So I just came here today. I represent Untamed, which is a unified nation, taking action, mentally erasing deception. Unified nation, taking action, mentally erasing deception. That's what Untamed stands for. And so I want to talk about the Bryant Center a little, but I also just want to give y'all the history of why we are where we are right now. And so those brothers, shout out to Justin Wayne and Brother McKinney. Those brothers are paving the way for something that it has to take place. And a lot of people don't know, but Senator McKinney's grandpa and my mom used to work on cars together. So that's how I knew Terrell from way back when he was just a little dude. So, I mean, y'all got to think about this. So in the 60s, Omaha was known for tearing up stuff when things happened in our community that was an injustice. And actually, this shirt right here, Justice for Amir Locke, I don't know if y'all know, but this is my cousin, his cousin Karen Wells. Shouts out to her. She's probably on here right now with me. Hey, cuz. And he was killed February 2nd, 2022 in Minnesota, which is coming back up again in a few more days. But so 9 years ago, Queen Latifah actually revamped the Bryant Center. And only 9 years ago, that's not that long. And when she did, actually the place still ended up going right back to crap.
Wait, you said Queen Latifah, UNITY, Queen Latifah?
Yeah, I didn't want to disrupt, but yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, I can send you the video. It's on YouTube. You look it up, Queen Latifah Show in Bryant Center. She
What?
voted the Bryant Center the worst place in America, a park for kids, and it was the raggediest, ran down place. So she invested her money into the park to clean it up. That was in 2000, like 8 or 9 years ago. All the same people that's here now, bro, watch that place deteriorate to nothing again. Sundiata, which is the minister that's from Omaha, who is Amir Locke's uncle, came down here voluntarily because his father used to coach at the Bryant Center. So this is not just like we doing stuff at the Bryant Center. There's history there. And his father was the coach. So he came down and cleaned up that park by himself for free with no help. Besides the initial removing all the leaves, me, Johnny No Good, Shamari, a few other brothers, Red with Best Yet, like all these people. Shouts out to SB McGee, my cousin. He passed away, but shouts out. He came down and we cleaned up the leaves, and Cuz took the rest by himself. The nets, the painting, all that graffiti and stuff that was down there. He added the locks, the chains, all that, and made it to what everybody finally started paying attention to, adding those banners. He was not allowed right away to be in there. It got so bad that they ended up having a retired archbishop come out of retirement to confirm him as a Catholic just so he can run the Bryant Center.
Wow.
Because they wasn't allowing him to join the church. Okay? So let's get the history straight. So if 9 years she did that, Queen Latifah, then it went right back to crap. He comes along and clean it completely up and then called me and say, Cuz, I got the keys. Let's do what you do. Because I had been doing this stuff, but I was never no mainstream person. So I was doing stuff, but it was just, we just did it. And when we got at the historical Bryant Center, that's what made more attention come to it. But some of those same people who was rolling with me all them years, we all just met up and did the same thing again. And so here you go, 2 years passed. The first year we did the 20 weeks. No money from nobody. It was all community funded, and me and my wife and my daughter's work checks. And we started off with only feeding 4 kids. It was my nephews and stuff. And I came down and I did a live and said, hey man, y'all want to bring y'all kids? Come on down. And I'll feed them. And that turned into 20 weeks. And so I actually had a program that I had wrote in the Being Great era, but everybody thought it was a joke. So I just revamped it a little bit and brought it back out and tried it at the Bryant Center, and it was successful. So it was 20 weeks. You bring in a guest speaker every week to talk to the children so they get a new outlook of what a career or things that are people that they normally wouldn't get to talk to. You highlight those people, right? You give them a good meal, and you bring in real good-hearted, loving, caring people that when you're not there, but all around the whole court, there was somebody there to love you, whether it was me, Twin, Christy, Kasim, Tamika, Shani. There was always some love that you can receive from any one of us. And that's what the Bryant Center was. It was so in order to take away from that, to me, it just shows that your real true heart is not about the community, bro. And the love of North Omaha and the strength of North Omaha shows time and time again. And then there's always an oppression that tries to bring it back down. Same with these brothers that was talking about that. And when you continue to oppress a community, so when you go back to what I was saying initially with the riots, year after year in the 60s, niggas got mad about stuff and they tore stuff up. So in 69, when Vivian Strong got killed, they decided that at this time, we're not going to rebuild. We're going to let them suffer. And it's like a long spanking for North Omaha economically. Then you turn this place, when you starve a place for money, then you turn it into crime. That's perfect. Why? Because they can invest in jails. They can set up nonprofits in the area and draw money, federal dollars, to say, I'm helping rebuild this area, but never really rebuild it, but just say it. Write programs, take a picture here and there, call the news here and there. Okay? That's the game. So what we did at the Bryant Center was change the perspective. Shawnee Hernandez had movie nights there on Fridays at night. Most of the time we got out there at 11 o'clock. Okay? We had the Sundays, we had Power Wheel car shows, we had trucks pulling up, vendor trucks, multiple times. The events was outrageous. So then this second year we had so much news coverage, World Herald coverage. It could not be allowed to continue. Why? Because then the city of Omaha recognized Sundiata for having a place in the worst area for 2 years of events with no crimes. Now you're changing the narrative of the place that y'all say is terrible.
Ooh, that messes with their money.
It gets deep, brothers. It gets
That's deep.
And usually I don't talk about it, but if you invite me to talk about it, I'm gonna talk about it.
Oh yeah.
And so with all of that comes now the management that wants to manage us doing what we've been doing, and that's not gonna happen.
And where is this Where's this management coming from? Where
I have no idea. You know, I leave all the questions to the church to explain their way out of it. I haven't taken any calls or nothing from nobody, but the beauty of being spiritually connected, brothers, because we all are. I seen sight before sight, so I had already took my stuff out of there in October of last year, and I already wrote a new plan for this summer, and I'm with the winning team, and so these team of people, the BAA,
shout out.
I'm a chair member of the BAA. I'm with North Omaha Community Partnership. You know, I ride with Shotty Hernandez and Isla Chill, brother Terrell, all these brothers, man. What they don't know is we're all connected because we're all fighting for the same purpose, which is the people of North Omaha, the people of Omaha as a city, and it's nationwide. And so this year, I actually found out that Vivian Strong is my second cousin after I did an ancestry DNA test. And so it's just ironic that, you know, her death was the teardown of North Omaha. However, we are the rebuild. And so when Nancy wrote that story in the World Herald, that's what she was talking about. But I think now what we have is people seeing the narrative change. And like Paul said, it's interrupted money. You got to think about there's funders that's funding all these other people. And they like, what's going on? But I don't like cause and divide. So I'm not going to attack people or go after people. We just have to continue to do the work. And hopefully people come around, because all these old beasts, bro, is before my time. I mean, I'm 46. I don't know why most of these people mad at each other, and I don't get into it. I don't have beef with nobody, bro.
It goes way back too. That's funny. You're right. Man. We don't even know how it started.
We don't even, and they won't never solve it. They won't stop. They talk about each other behind their back like crazy. It's just ridiculous, bro. But I stay out of it. It's just me, my wife, and daughter. And when you think about Untamed, Untamed is not something you join. It's a lifestyle. It's a unified nation that takes action, mentally erasing the deception that we have been programmed to believe that we're something that they can predict and they have created, but really we're supposed to live our own way and live free as possible. So that way you remain unpredictable. But if you fall for any narrative, whether it's a political narrative, a sports narrative, you are predictable. Why? Because if you're a sports person, what? You're going to go to your favorite sports team. You'll buy the jerseys. You'll tune in, you know? So if you fall for that system of the nigger, the motherfucking nigga jumping off the porch, you know, doing stuff, you're predictable in your actions and movement. But when you can one day wear a suit and then go back to the hood and go to the two, you're unpredictable. People don't know what you're capable of or what you're going to do. So I think the North Omaha community has become very unpredictable because. Go ahead.
I just want to jump.
Go ahead.
Just wanted to jump in here real quick because I'm looking at the reason why you came. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Reason why we wanted to have you on. I mean, we wanted to have you on for a bunch of different reasons and for a while now. So the video that you put out was super compelling. And this is where you broke down the DNA, the Vivian Strong, the poetic nature of the fact that our hood got tore down because of the situation with Vivian Strong, and now here's family members that are bringing it back up, pulling it back up. We definitely you made me rethink about how it is that what we can do, who we can team up with, how we can back ourselves instead of backing entities that don't have our best interests at heart. We definitely are going to reach out to the church and see if we can get some answers on some stuff, even though we are all on this tip of moving on. Oh, and by the way, too, I wanted to say, I remember on your video you were trying not to cuss. Try not to cuss here too.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
it's all good. But so we apologize for the language there, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
But
my bad.
it's all good.
Sorry to the preachers. Yeah, I'm working on it, bro. I'm working on it.
I saw
We
your
all
video.
working. We all working.
I saw your video. I know you are. I saw your video. I was like, he working on it. He working on it. That's what's up.
Very much so.
But yeah, man, the you know, just to put our efforts in with the with people with us instead of people who don't actually have our best interest at heart. And I really was moved by your video, and I was like, man, I went to look for some more. Do you have a show? Did you what? Do you got something going on? Because you seem real professional behind that camera, in front of that camera, and laying it out. And I got more information from your video than I got from anything else for a while. So, you know, with us, we trying to do some communication here. We trying to do news from our neighborhoods. Would love to continue to work with you on some of that stuff. You seem to be tapped in, and we really want to. That's what we want to do. We want to tap in and we want to get that word out and direct folks. Like we're trying to be an action group. We want to direct folks to where do we help? Where do we put our dollars? How can we come together? If you know us long enough to our show long enough to know that we all about collaboration. We're not trying to compete. We're not trying to have any more separations that there already are in the Black community. We're trying to collaborate. So
absolutely,
I was very excited for your visit because I wanted in the fact that you were talking about doing some stuff with the BAA and so on. How can we be down? Basically, is what I'm asking.
Man. First Sky, yeah. How can we be down?
First Sky is already down. Y'all been in the community reporting on everything that's going on. I appreciate it. I know I was trying to get on during the time when I was doing the Bryant Center stuff, but it was just such a busy schedule. But the BAA, man, I joined a couple years ago, and it's been nothing but beautiful work. I think with us as Black people in the nation, not just Nebraska, we are at a time that we recognize our real power. What y'all doing, this media, this is power because it's the ability to communicate. Even though if y'all go too far, sometimes they might cut us off, but we still have established that you two are the communicators, and that is a beautiful thing.
Well, we gonna find. They can cut us off if they want to. We gonna find a way.
Find another way.
Yeah, we're gonna make it happen.
Y'all brothers is doing some important stuff. So shout out to y'all, man. I mean, people tune in, they respect you. So I think it's good that we continue to communicate. So collaborations, anytime you want me on, I'm for that.
That's what's up. I do want to jump in the chat, man. I've been neglecting the chat here after we had all these difficulties here. Ghost Listeners 402 is talking about another example of why we have little faith in organizations. Because we do something good, they come, and here they come trying to control it. Efforts thrive until you put a name on it. I hear that. Wanda Lewis says, clean out the alley that they thought was dirt.
Yeah. So Sundiata, that alley right next to the Bryant Center, they did think was all dirt. He got a bulldozer because he remembered as a kid that was an alley, and he cleaned it out, and it was all cement under there.
Wow.
And you know what he did then? He turned around, and after we cleaned it out, we let Chase Elite Basketball come down and do a drive-through car wash to raise money for their basketball team. And we was going to continue that. I mean, and we didn't charge them nothing. And it's a beautiful thing because what we were going to do was then you turn around and you just have the neighborhood kids in the summer have a car wash business to raise money so they're not in the streets and they got a way to raise money. Man. But again, we cannot have an area thrive that we say is bad because we need to get the most out of the dollars. So you're sacrificing people's lives and the ability to get resources for dollars.
Right. And I wanted to mention that part as far as what happened at the Bryant Center, and you mentioned it in your video that can be found on Facebook in regards to whoever was trying to come in and oversee the situation that was going on and oversee and manage what y'all were doing. You mentioned that you weren't charging the people who were running programming through there, but they were trying to change that and start charging people to use an asset in the community that you weren't
money.
That's ridiculous, man. That's crazy. In the chat, Stephen Abraham says, Sherman, the community appreciate the work you have done. Would you go back to the Bryant Center if they asked you to come back? Yeah, I'm glad that leads us to the next thing because that's what we had, man. if you want to know what happened, jump on Brother Wells' video and find out the whole thing. Apparently, powers that be, or people that think they in power, have come through and tried to control something that these brothers have done and turn some things around. And we already on the next step. We just gonna move.
And well, I didn't even give them a chance to see what they was gonna do, brother.
Right.
Once you say manage me, and I'm the one who's doing it, no.
How does that work? Where they do that at?
Bro, when
it's been sitting there all that time, and the queen cleaned it up, and you
Right.
let it go back again. Nah, bro. I don't even want to hear it.
It's an amazing story that like how else would this crazy that dirt alley cement thing is hitting me hard, because that's a story. You can only have people in the community, from the community, been in the community the whole time, that really knows what's really going on, that knows about the cement up underneath the dirt. You know what I'm saying?
He said he walked through there as a kid and found gun shell casings in the alley crater, and he remembered it.
Wow.
Out of his own pocket, he rented the Bobcat. We're talking about Amir's uncle. See, this is why when Karen went on national TV and said, you messed with the wrong family, be prepared for this family, this is what she meant. Because it's the heart and the spirit and the soul of the people that we carry, and it's the blessing. We all, man. And so, they might have took Amir, and if you think about it, they killed him on 2/2/22, right? He was born 11/11/99. That's our angel right there. You know what I mean? And and a fact that most people don't know, when Amir died, we researched some of the paperwork he was doing. He had started a nonprofit, an LLC, and the name of it was Saving the Youth.
There you go. Man, it's powerful. It just kind of reminds me of what we're doing here at First Sky Omaha. And, Paul, if you want to, I can let you speak to exactly what First Sky means. But, I always say the conversation rules the nation, and the nation is nothing but a family of families. That's all a nation is a family of families, different families coming together to say, hey, we're going to come together for this common purpose, and we're going to create these laws. We're going to elect people amongst us to lead us. That's what created this nation. And by us forgetting that and not moving in that way, then we are shooting ourselves in the foot, and we're not going to get anywhere. So the fact that you're, speaking about the Vivian Strong relationship, speaking about the Amir Locke relationship, we are all cousins. We are all related. I'm sure if I dig deep enough, Paul and I is related somewhere. You and I are related somewhere. That's like true. If we dig deep enough, we really are like literally cousins.
Family.
So when you think about it like that, it's like, okay, we family. So let's move in that way, and then we can get things done. But people don't get it.
Well, here we get it, and we on a show that gets it. And let's talk. And so since we talking amongst ourselves with people who get it, let's talk about next steps. What are we doing next? What can we help next? What can we support next? Because I know y'all ain't done. I still need my Island Chill juice right now.
No, we not done. First of all, Shawnee is going to be at the field with the movie nights, but we have a bigger plan in the scheme that I was able to, we worked out, and we've all talked about it months ago. So we'll be revealing it here after we get some final details in place. And it's going to be bigger than big. And just say it's going to involve the entire city.
Let us break it, bro. Break it with us. Break it with us. Yeah. Breaking news with First Guy.
Let us know how we can be the mouthpiece, how we can big it up, whatever we got to do. Pump it through some channels.
You know what? I like what you said when you just said about the nation, being built, and you just basically described Untamed, because it's the unified nation. It's a family of people that has the same thought process, and it's not even something we had to talk about to have.
No,
it's the signal that we're all receiving spiritually. That's why they don't like us together, because when we get together, we already are receiving the spirit, the signal, and then we start talking about it. Then our creative juices flowing, and next thing you know, we done built the nation.
Man, you don't want to get too deep, but God, Allah, Yahweh, whatever you want to call it, it's the spirit of love. And when you receive that spirit and you move in that spirit, you're moving in the spirit of God. Yeah. So, and there's only one God. So we can all come together and be God, or we can separate, and move that way. But, I don't want to get too deep on them. But shout out to my cousin that's in the chat, Nunaji L, who I didn't know was my cousin until I ran into him in Alabama and found out he was my cousin from college. Like Again, we're all cousins. It's a tribe. I see y'all in the chat. Peace to everybody, man. You got me charged up, brother. However we can help, we got your back.
1,000%. I appreciate it.
We gonna wrap up, man. We got some haps to get into here before we wrap up the last part of this show. Leave us with something. What's the words of wisdom or the statement of action that you want to leave us with?
The statement of action I would say is love yourself, right? And then love the people around you. And I'm not saying you got to go out and be frontline or do what they doing on the radio or nothing, but live the example that you want to see. And that will create change when people look at you from the outside looking in.
Love it. Appreciate you, bro. One last question. You said Shawnee gonna do the juice in the movies in the field. What's the field?
Okay. So the BAA, we got a field over here on 30th in Spalding. Andre is usually over there. Shouts out to Doge and Wangs and Thang. That's my brother. Hey, and he has been turning that field up. And the BAA have their football practices there, right there. There you go. That's the land. So we also got that 8 acres. Hey, but yeah, hey man, we coming. But yeah. So Shawnee will be movie night, but she's everywhere. To be honest, if you follow her page, Island Chill, you'll find Shawnee. She is everywhere. That's one of the most beautiful spirits I've met in a long time. And then when I met her, we found out, like he said, not that we cousins, but our sisters was best friends, and as kids, we was already around each other. You know?
Play cousins is all the same.
Just a full circle back, yeah. It's a full circle back. So I love her daughters, her peoples, man. It's a beautiful thing. So
appreciate you, bro. We will definitely have you back another time and several more times, man. We need your reports because you tapped in. You're tapped in. And you talking our stuff too, so we appreciate you.
Yeah, and I just want to give one more shout out. My daughter just turned 25 2 days ago, 23, and on the 25th, and also she's running for Miss Nebraska. So
that's your daughter, okay?
February 25th, the pageant contest. So we're gonna need all y'all there to come in and vote because after that, she's representing Nebraska for Miss America. Okay,
representation matters, man.
Yes, sir. Love y'all brothers, man.
Love.
Man. Congratulations, bro.
Man, for sure. Be easy.
Yep. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
I see Shawnee in the chat.
Hey.
I need my Island Chill juice. So we got to have you on next and talk about your business and talk about what's going on. But I really appreciate Brother Wells coming through. That's what's up, man. I've been waiting for that interview there for real. So
man, got me charged up, man. Got me you know, I'm hey, you got me in my spiritual bag, man. Once I get to preaching, anytime I get to preach, man.
That's what's up.
Big shout out to that brother.
There you go. I see my sister in the chat, man. We talking about family. There we go. What's going on, Brooke? Good morning, Zane.
What's going on,
dude? What's happening, my brother? Hope you're feeling better, man. And get to basketball practice this week and all that good stuff. So that's what's up, man. Appreciate you. We're gonna take a quick that's what's up, Shawnee. We're gonna definitely have you on for sure. That's a feel good day for me, man. On the real, 8:52 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're gonna jump right into the haps. So y'all, ladies and gentlemen, what's happening? What's going down? Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the haps. Time for us to talk about some of the things that's going on around town. Time for you guys to tell us what's going on as well. We definitely want to hear that and big up what you guys got going on. I definitely want to jump in real quick just to talk about a few things that's going on tonight over at the Benson Theater. Is the Benson Theater Reveal Party. You guys know I'm tapped in over there at Benson Theater. It's a space that we can absolutely use. Just B just had his Celebration of Life concert over there, and it was a perfect space for it. This place is for us. So come down, check it out tonight. You can hear about what's going on for the year from 6 to 8. It's the happy hour. Just come down, have a drink, talk to some folks, and let's talk about how we can use the space. It's a very affordable place, a very elegant place to be, and all that good stuff. Definitely come check out that and see what's going on there. Come down and meet us 6 to 8. We're going to be hanging out. Definitely check it out. Don't forget, Fences is still in. August Wilson's Fences is still in over at where's the Blue Barn? I always
Omaha Community Playhouse.
That's right, Omaha Community Playhouse. So it's the first time in 90 years they've done an August Wilson play. Fences is playing. It's in there now. Sorry, I don't have the dates for you right now, but just check out tickets today because it's been in for a few days now. So I think they got one more week for the run. You need to definitely check them out. But I keep on hearing the performances are out of control. Really, really cool, good stuff. So definitely check them out. Yeah, for sure. That's a must see. That's a must see. I'm definitely gonna get out and check that out. Also, we got a collaboration between Vincent Theater and Culture House, and Michelle Trostler's in business as well. There's a DJ battle going on. 4th and 5th, man. If you're a DJ, come in, get your battle on because you can win a $500 cash performance, and you'll be headlining at the Vincent Theater for that show. So definitely go check it out. You can register at Culture House /DJ battle. Definitely get in there and get going there, man. I'm glad we're finally doing some collaborations with them. There's a series of shows that are happening, a couple over at the Benson Theater and a couple over at the Culture House. This is the beginning of it, the DJ battle February 4th and 5th. Go to Culture House and check it out, culturehouse.org, and check that out. Also, Black Mystical Musings happening over at the Fabric Lab, and I believe this is tomorrow, January 28th from 7 to 9, a spiritual kickback discussing spiritual gifts. I love what they're doing here. So that's what's up over at the Fabric Lab. Man, lots of good stuff happening. You know where the Fabric Lab is on the corner of 24th and Lake. You guys go
on
over
the
there.
Deuce.
On the Deuce, right next to the old Love's Jazz. Mama call them Love's Jazz. I'm gonna call them Love's Jazz.
I'm calling Love Jazz. All right.
Going down. Thank you for those are the ones that I wanted to try to get out right now. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else in the chat here. Buddy, you got any haps for the peoples?
No, I just wanted to wrap up with this trailer for the people. Again, the 1619 project is out or coming out on Hulu, so definitely look out for that. We talking about family, we talk about nation, we talk about nation building, we talking about community. This is all of that, man. So definitely look out for the 1619 project. I know they're trying to ban it. I don't know if you've been paying attention what's going on in Florida, but it's getting outrageous, man. It's getting out of control. Again, I don't know if you heard, Paul, but completely banned Black history teachings in Florida.
Right. Completely banned. Is this what you have in the wings here? This is a
yes,
trailer?
sir. Yes, sir. This is that trailer. So we're gonna go ahead and play this real quick for the people as we wrap up. Again, this is the Hulu 1619 project official trailer. Check it out.
Happens tonight.
They say our people were born on the water. The very first enslaved Africans were brought here over 400 years ago. Since then, no part of America's story has been untouched by the legacy of slavery. This is the 1619 Project.
The New York Times
1619 Project.
My father, he always flew a flag in our front yard.
One thing about Dad, he was patriotic.
He was a part of that United States Army. They served their country. But hey, you serve your country, don't mean your country's gonna serve you.
The truth is, Black Americans have always been foundational to the idea of American freedom.
Democracy is a fight. It will always be a fight.
You are calling for reparations. What is the total that would be owed?
$14 trillion.
That's a big number.
Yeah.
Big debt, though.
It is a big debt.
We are still fighting. As long as there's life, we're gonna have hope.
When I hear funk, I hear freedom.
There are centuries in that music. Centuries in that spirit.
The 1619 Project, it's not a history. It really is talking about America today.
Black Americans' contributions are undeniable. No people had a greater claim to the American flag than we do.
Yo.
There you go.
That's what's up. Happening
So
today.
out now.
Out now. Hulu. Yep. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you putting that up there. I just got done reading that audiobook, so it's a trip that's coming out right now. I can't wait to see that. I'm hyped. One last hap that we definitely got to talk about is the one that Precious McKesson is mentioning right now, 16th Annual State of the North Omaha and State of African Americans. Transformational Opportunity, Saturday, January 28th, 2023. It's 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. in person at OPS TAC building. Or you can also reach it by Zoom as well. But look at all these brothers and sisters that are going to be on here speaking.
Man,
this is everybody from Stothard to Precious to I mean, it's all you can see it's all over the place. There's a lot. I've been to a couple of these State of the Unions before. So shout out to everybody that is sponsoring these and putting these on, and I can't wait to hear from everybody. It's going to be interesting to hear everybody in the room. Man, Terrell McKinney, you see Justin Wayne's there. You see Chris Rogers, man.
Hey, if you got questions, got comments, got concerns, this is where you need to be.
There you go. There's Juanita Johnson. So yeah, you got questions, bring them. Definitely want to talk to everybody that's here. So definitely check that out. That's happening tomorrow, the 28th. Like I said, to start from 8:30 to 1. Go ahead and knock that out in the morning, man, so you can be a part of that thing. It only happens every once a year, but it's kind of the official, state of North Omaha talk. So definitely check that out. And if you guys got any chats, any things that you think we need to be checking out this weekend too, please put them in the chat.
Stacy Jean just said Augie Kid's DJing at Culture House tonight. Doors open at 7. Yeah, man. Shout out to Augie Kid, man. Part of the crew, part of the fam.
Yeah, he doing stuff now. Ain't even letting nobody know. I see how it is. Augie Kid. Yeah, definitely check him out, man. It's always going down at the Culture House. So that's what's up. Check it out tonight if you got nothing going on. And it's probably going to happen late too. So maybe come to the Benson Theater reveal party open house tonight from 6 to 8, and then we'll head over to Culture House and check out Augie Kid or something like that. Make a night of it.
Yeah, man.
Be careful out there. It's supposed to snow a little later on, like 9-10 o'clock tonight. Supposed to some flurries and things supposed to be happening. So the temperature's dropping. Supposed to be real dramatic. They keep on calling it dramatic on the radio. What's going to happen Saturday? It's going to be
sounds
like 40,
ominous.
Yeah, 40 degrees, and then it's going to dip to 17 like in the middle of the day, like that type of dramatic, right? Man. So anyway, I appreciate everybody that's jumped in, man. Let's go ahead and get out of here before we let this drag out too much. It's already 9 o'clock. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
Man, powerful show. I'm looking at the chat. I feel like the listeners out there agree. A lot of great shows. Pop says the show's so uplifting. I definitely appreciate you. Man, big shout out to the senators, brother Senator Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names. Again, that they will be continuing to come and join us every Friday for the legislative report, at least when they can, because again, they are very busy. So we definitely appreciate when we are able to speak with them. Also, big shout out to brother Sherman Wells, man. I see you still in the chat. I appreciate you for coming through. Would love to have you again whenever you want to come through. Definitely looking forward to collaborating with you more in the future. And I told y'all, man, I just felt it in my spirit, and it's coming out. Teamwork makes the dream work. That is the theme of this season. I'm just gonna go ahead and claim it. If you feel differently, that's a personal problem. Teamwork makes the dream work. You got to come together to make it happen. Otherwise, just gonna be spinning your wheel. So we appreciate everybody, all the first-time listeners, all the last-time listeners. Again, I ain't gonna call you a last-time listener, because even if you don't come back tomorrow, we know you'll be back. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you all the same. And with that, Paul B,
yo,
take it away.
Man, I too appreciate all the brothers that came on the day, for real. Sherman Wells in the chat says most of these people talking about the state of Omaha, the state of the Black Omaha, North Side. Most of these people are not from North Omaha or don't live in North Omaha. But I will tell you, a lot of our chat chimers ain't from North Omaha, don't live in North Omaha. We can always spread the word, and we can always find allies in and out, because the people that know North Omaha is the most important place in Omaha. So so you better pay attention and have something to do with that. So that's what's up. Really appreciated that. Woman said that's right. Teamwork makes the dream work. We're gonna go ahead and call it. Zane said, bye, Uncle Paul. Good show.
Hey.
See you later, my brother. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for saying this was a good show. I appreciate you tuning in. Zane. Yeah, man, that's what's up. Eros Pro 2 says senators need an intro song, skit, commercial. Man, we working on all of that. We coming up with it's getting there, bro. It's getting there. We working on it this year for sure. So stay tuned.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
We can make it if we try.
Yes, sir. So anyway, to those in North Omaha, those out of North Omaha, and all the allies, all the heads, all the people, all the like-minded people that are trying to build this thing up, let's help, man. We're really here for the Black community, wherever they are,
man.
And we will not ever forget that the Deuce is the soul and the history of Black Omaha in the first place. No matter where you live in Black Omaha, you know that you're still tied to the Deuce.
Man, you got that book?
Yeah, speaking of which, message.
Message. Hey, the deuce. The deuce.
Please order your book. Please order your book. Cousin Patricia Allen wrote a comprehensive book about the deuce, and really is going back into history, man. And it's super interesting. Definitely check it out. You can get it at Amazon, everywhere you get books. As a matter of fact, I talked to the African American bookstore is about to connect with her and have it in the store as well. So I got a call. And then she was just like, "Hey, we need to connect with your cousin." All right, cool. Let's make it happen. So I love it when plan comes together and everybody comes together and helps each other out with that. But definitely check it out because the one thing that I'm really, really understanding, and I knew this when I got in town because my great grandfather had the Allen Showcase on 24th and Lake. But now seems like the rest of the city's starting to understand the deuce is the heart of Black Omaha. Period. In when stuff happens at the Bryant Center, it's tragic because of that fact, because the deuce is the heart of North Omaha for the Black community. And the north side is the most important part of town because of its proximity, because of its history, because of everything. Proximity to the city, proximity to the airport, proximity to everything. And the fact that there's so many of us that live there and care about it, and so many even outside that live and care about it, is a testimony to that. So really appreciate everybody who's understanding that. Ghost Listener says, stop letting them control the narrative. That's what we're here to do, is stopping letting them control the narrative. So we're going to get out of here. We really appreciate it. What's this, the deuce?
Yes, sir. Hey, we got to
write something. I was
gotta let them know.
My father's from Omaha, Nebraska. In North Omaha.
This is the deuce that we fighting for. This is what we trying to protect, y'all.
It was a club called Paul B. Allen Showcase.
All right.
And my dad
said
it feels like how we grew up playing in the 60s. It felt good times and holding hands.
We'll put that link in the chat so you can check that out, man. It was a video that Terrence Martin did with his father, legendary Curly Martin, all about the deuce as well. And man, well, yeah, put that in. Let's put that in the chat, man, so we can make sure that people get to see that. But thank you so much for everything. We're gonna get out of here, man. What time is it? 9:06. Big time late getting out of here today, but it was worth it. I'm still feeling good and vibing off of the guests in the chat, in the chat chimers and everybody that tuned in. It's a good feeling, man. A lot of love today, so I appreciate that very, very much, for sure. He said, gonna need to fight on for the deuce. They involved too, yeah. But like I said, man, read what was really going on with Sankofa. Read what's really going on with what the brothers have been trying to put in front of there. Trying to tell you, man, it's deeper than we might think. They understand that the heart of North Omaha is the deuce, and it's our historical district, and they're trying to save it, preserve it. They're trying to make it so it's not controlled just by a bunch of nonprofits. So it's always a fight. And there's going to be new parts of town that pop up too, like around that 16th Street area, for new tech, for new media, for all kinds of different things. There's way more room in North Omaha to expand things. And then, man, let's get with the BAA. They're making moves on land. They're making moves on all kinds of things that we can also help with, also be a part of, and also help thrive and help North Side to thrive. And even other places. Like you don't hear me talk about it much because of what happened, but Malcolm X Memorial Foundation is still a serious resource in our community. And if there's a way that we can connect with them and help that place to thrive too, do it. This is all our culture, our areas. So we're going to be here serving that with First Sky Omaha as much as we can from now on, and we'll continue to do that like we've been trying to do, and just make collaborations happen. And so, yeah, it starts with love, starts with family. Teamwork makes the dream work. Season 5, it's official. It's going down. We'll see you Monday. You guys have a really good weekend and take care of each other.
Peace.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the red, the black, and the green. At the crossroad, with the key.
By any means necessary.
I got out too quick. I got out without saying Thanks to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land. Thanks to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. Thanks to you, the chat chimers, for allowing us to speak with you. Thank you very much for tuning in and chiming in. And thank you for everybody who is a reoccurring member of the channel to help us keep going. Go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the donate button if you with it. Join the Reader, join Flatwater Free Press, join the BAA, join all the organizations that are of like mind so that we can all kind of come together and collaborate. Really appreciate everybody. That's it. You guys have a good one.